With the patch notes out and the martial artist finally revealed, it is now time for me to answer the question once and for all. Should you league start Thorns? And by for once and for all, I mean I have a different answer for different of you. To those of you who just came here seeking a clean-cut yes or no answer, who want to just get an answer, quit the video, and just fuck off. No, don't league start Thorns, but thank you for watching. Have a great league start, and if you feel inclined, maybe drop a like, sub, and a comment so more people like you can find my video. That would be very nice. To those saints among you willing to sit out the ramble and look deeper and see what's going on, the answer is more like a maybe. I'm just going to cover it one Thorns archetype at a time, one by one. And I'm going to start us off with the classic Phys armor-based Thorns, the one that you might play on Shaman or Warrior. The just generally always been the strongest version of Thorns. Any guides for that were made between 0.2 and now are outdated. This is insane because that archetype didn't really change at all across 3 leagues, but Lich has been absolutely fucking gutted, and I don't know that we can lean on it as our entire recovery source. Now, I've had some people say, oh, but Lily, the fundamentals of the build haven't changed. No, for a build where your entire source of damage is getting hit, your recovery is a fundamental part of the build. So the build has fundamentally changed. About half of our passive tree investment has been in Leech for the longest time because it was strong and it allowed us to survive and it was important to us. And Leech is now going to require more investment to get to the same point. Now, the changes to Leech were a little bit weird. We don't fully understand everything. Some testing required. Maybe it'll still be good enough. We don't know. It's just kind of like an approach with care situation. And I'm not going to update my guide. And Carl said he won't update his guide. We both plan to update our guides after League start, I think. I'm going to just run some practice runs on like a Warrior and a Shaman after League start, simulating a League start scenario, seeing what it feels like to play a Warrior or a Shaman, put together a build guide, but that's going to take me a few weeks to do. So don't hold your breath for that. As for what I recommend you do with your recovery if you are going to League start a Classic Thorn setup, I recommend going either an ES armor hybrid setup or a recoup setup. Now, to address those one at a time, recoup's the most popular option I've seen floating around. I don't believe in it. I believe that recoup has some fundamental issues in PoE 2 and a few extra clusters on the tree isn't going to solve that. However, it does really fit thematically the best with Thorns, so it's a good option, especially if you're running it alongside Leech. Just remember that you cannot take Vol Pact if you're going to do Recoup because it disables all other sources of life recovery. If you do want to take Vol Pact, and I want to take Vol Pact because I think Overleech is quite an important thing, I think an ES Armor Hybrid is a really interesting thing to consider because we could take something like Energy Shield on block or Scarred Faith to just add an extra layer of recovery to ourselves, and then with Gloves and Shield and Helmet we can maybe get like 1,000 energy shield altogether, which is just 1,000 extra HP to everything except Chaos, where it's only 500 extra HP. But it should just make us a little bit less one-shottable, and Scarred Faith should handle shotguns really well as well. So that's the recovery situation. If you know what you're doing, if you feel like you can figure out your way around adding these things to your character and your tree, you should be able to League start Classic Thorns. Just approach it with care. And as for other changes to Classic Thorns, Stag Idols have been gutted. They no longer grant us crit chance at all. There is a lot of copium in the Thorns community that it will be moved to one of the many runes being added. I do actually believe in this cope. I don't think they would just completely delete a stat like that. But I think that we'll have to look to the new runes and try and figure out which one is now the Thorns crit rune. The numbers might be adjusted. We might not be able to as easily get to 100% crit chances before. So beware about that. But I think we can survive without 100% crit chance. I think it's just going to feel a lot worse damage-wise if we can't get to 100% crit chance. So also keep an eye out with that. Once again, League start with care. And finally, the buff. Prized Pain has been giga buffed. I don't think in a Classic Thorn setup it's worth actually being one of your rings because those rings being defensive is so important. I don't think you can afford to slot the unique in there. But you can just keep a well-rolled Prized Pain in your inventory, and then whenever you come across like a River Hag or something else that just won't attack you and won't proc your barbs, you can just swap out a ring for that Prized Pain for that one mob, kill the mob, and then swap it back. It's worth doing on any Thorns build, honestly, just having this Prized Pain there ready for anything that's going to give you trouble. So that's the situation with classic physical armor Thorns. I think for the most part, offensively, the build's not going to change at all. We still want to run Rapid Assault, we still want to use Brass Dome, we still want a rare belt, we still want a rare shield, we still want all of the offensive pathing and offensive gems. Just, we need to be aware of alternative defenses for options now that Lich has been nerfed, so approach with care, see what you can figure it out. Give it a shot if you really want to, but maybe try league starting something else and make Thorns your second character if Classic Thorns is what you want. I'm going to move on to mana stacking Thorns now. Now this is the Thorns archetype that I feel like I am most known for. Very few people have touched mana stacking Thorns. I'm one of the only psychopaths out there. There are other psychopaths, you know who you are. I see your comments on my YouTube videos and we've had conversations on Reddit. They haven't actually really been touched because with the mana Thorns we weren't really reliant on Leech because you couldn't get mana Leech anyway. So Infernalist and Lich as mana stacking Thorns are going to be just as viable as they were when iLeague started it in 0.3. Which is to say, not great, but I mean, it worked for me. It got me to T16 maps. Now, Ice Tomb's going to be rune forgeable, which will be a nice layer of defense probably. But I still just think Ice Tomb inherently sucks and no amount of defenses can solve that. So I personally wouldn't recommend a mana stacking Infernalist or Lich league start. But if you do plan to league start that, my old build guide from 0.3 should still be good enough. You might want to make a few pathing changes. Some clusters might have moved in the big 0.4 cluster reshuffling in that side of the tree. But I won't be updating that build guide even weeks into the league. I will not be playing that build, and I will not recommend you play that build. If you have played it in 0.3 and 0.4 and you know what you're doing and you just want to do it again, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. It might not be the most fun way to explore a new endgame, but we probably actually can still mana stack with Thorns. Just not on Infernalist and Lich, and not with Ice Tomb. With the mythical support gem we've all been wanting to use for so long, Crackling Barrier on Martial Artist. Now, I think we've all seen some memes and the reveal video. Martial Artist looks ridiculously overpowered. The Fists of Stone notable looks stronger than most of the other ascendancies in the game combined. At the very least, you could fully ascend a Smith of Katava and still be weaker than one fucking pair of gloves. It's actually insane how good the Martial Artist is. And the thing that we care about here isn't even the Fists of Stone. I mean, we're obviously going to take that, but it's Hollow Form. Hollow Form is a channeling skill which you can socket a strike skill in and then use that strike skill as a channeling attack. And you know what this means? It means a channeling strike skill. Now, it's proxies. Proxies are weird. Some testing required. There is no precedent in the game for this, but I am on the cope train that we will be able to use Barbs and Quillburst with Hollow Form, with Crackling Barrier, which should mean so much more mana scaling because we can actually use a rare chest with mana mods in it. And because we can use Crackling Barrier, which is Lightning Thorns, which means we can use it with Runes of Tithing and the extra rune sockets that the Martial Artist is going to get to have insane lightning damage, and we can pure focus this one type of damage, no conversion required. We can Shock, which is just such a good ailment. We should be able to reach damage numbers that the Infernalist and Lich Thorn setups could only dream of without sacrificing the defenses of running the Ice Tomb. Now, this build is highly experimental, so approach with care. If you're playing the mana stacking version, don't touch Prized Pain, because that's just less mana, especially with the new percent mana implicit rings. You get so much mana from rings. Don't run Prized Pain, don't give up a ring for that, but you should be able to have a really fun time on the Martial Artist mana Thorns. This is one of my two candidates for League Start. I keep flip-flopping between this and another option that I'll be getting to later in this video because it's also Thorns. I am definitely league starting Thorns this league. And then there is also another option with Martial Artist Thorns, and that is an option of Whirling Assault in Hollow Form with Prized Pain. Now, you would still use Crackling Barrier here because it's generic good stuff, but you wouldn't actually mana stack anymore. What you would do is you would run 2 Prized Pains and an Ingenuity. You can't get 100% Prized Pain proc chance with that. I think you can get up to I think I mathed it to 84% Prized Pain proc chance with a perfect Ingenuity and 2 perfect Prized Pains. I don't like the idea of only having an 80% chance chance to deal damage. But the fun thing that Martial Artist can do is you can use Hollow Form and you can use Power Charges and you can use Whirling Assault to just have a massive, insane AoE and hit the world. This should be the best clear Thorns setup. Although I question its viability for bossing. I don't want to do this Martial Artist Prize Pain setup, but I think it should be really strong. Give it a shot. RNG damage might feel really bad because you can only get an 84% chance to do damage. It's like having low accuracy on a bow or a spear. It's going to feel like crap. But give it a try. It has a lot of potential to be insanely fun, and that's the best thing we can hope for. If you are going to try this, if you are going to play a martial artist, make sure you have a backup plan. Now, martial artist is looking very strong. There are some very good backup plans, but I can't overtly recommend the setup because I just don't know if it's even going to work, and you don't want to play a build that doesn't work. Now to get to a build that actually definitely will work. And this is my other candidate for League Start, and that is Ritualist Thorns. Now, Ritualist has actually been a really strong option for Thorns for a long time. I've seen a lot of really good Ritualist Thorn setups. I've seen mana stackers, I've seen life stackers, I've seen armor stackers. I've seen so many Ritualist Thorns builds that work. It's never been as good, in my opinion, as Warbringer or Titan or Shaman, but it has been a really good second fiddle. It's been a solid option. I've seen a few people League started. I've played it myself once before. Ritualist Thorns is pretty good, but this league, I'm not recommending what you might expect from a Ritualist Thorn setup. I think, and hear me out, that on a Ritualist setup, we can play Thorns without Crown of the Pale King because of the prized pain buffs. Now, I said, don't play prize pain on martial artists. You're only going to be able to get 84% chance to proc. It's going to feel bad, but you can give it a try anyway. We can get 100% chance to proc on Ritualist with no ingenuity, but we will need 3 rings with an average roll of 26.6%, which is corrupted. You can't get 26.6% uncorrupted, so you will need corrupted rings to get to 100%. You will need 3 of them with decent but not perfect rolls. But this gives you a 100% chance to proc your Thorns damage on attack, which means the faster we hit, the more Thorns damage we do. Now, I'm thinking we go crownless for a better defensive setup, but with a crown, you can actually just do more damage because the things attacking you will also take damage and it will speed up your clear. It's like a push and pull between do you want the defensive option and do you want the offensive option. Crown will be better damage, no crown will be better defenses. Defenses might be rough running 3 unique bloody rings, so we might need that helmet slot, but either way, you should still use Quillburst and Barbs because the few times that you will get melee hit, you will really enjoy that extra damage, especially against most of the bosses in the game. But otherwise, you just basically want an attack speed setup where you have an attack that you don't care about the damage of, but you just have attacking as fast as possible. I'm thinking initially Whirling Slash and Kill the Weak for clear, Resonating Shield for armor break, and Rapid Assault for bossing. Some testing required. We could also explore mace skills. This could be a really good option for running Soul's Grit. But also, we actually want to scale attack speed to the fucking moon, so a mace might not be a good idea. There is the interesting option of dual wielding Soul's Grits with Armor Breaker, because that should be quite fast. Armor Breaker scales quite well with dual wielding, but some testing required. This build will, however, get very expensive very quickly. And while it doesn't rely on an untested interaction, because I'm pretty fucking sure Prize Pain's going to work the way I think it does, this build is still experimental. Approach it with care, and because you're running 3 unique rings that need to be corrupted, resistances are going to be hard, and this build could get really expensive really quickly. I'm not 100% sure that this option is actually League startable because of the budget required. That said, I'm still considering League starting it, but again, I don't recommend it, and this is why you see that I told the people who just fuck off early, don't League start Thorns. I have not recommended a single Thorns build this video, because everything is either experimental or nerfed, and with nerfs we don't know the scale of. So approach with care, My top candidates for Thorns League start are mana stacking Martial Artist or Prized Pain Ritualist. I don't recommend a classic mana stacking setup. I don't recommend a classic Phys Thorn setup. And I don't fully recommend a Martial Artist mana stacker or a Ritualist Prized Pain. But I think the latter two could be a lot of fun. And that's what we like. So if you feel like fiddling around with buildcraft, figuring things out for yourself, going without a build guide, because these things aren't in Path of Building, I'm not going to be able to make a build guide for you. Go for Martial Artist or Ritualist. They're going to be great. Now, say I won't be able to do a build guide. I will do a video for each of those builds if I find the time. My week has been busy as hell. But it's not going to be thorough. It's not going to be complete with POB. So you are going to have to figure some stuff out yourself. But anyway, that is my thoughts on whether or not you should League start Thorns. Like the video if you like it. Drop a comment down below. Give me a subscription. I'm doing the full sellout today because I just feel like it. And thank you for watching. Stick around for more Thorns builds and other off-meta crap. Goodbye.